Hey guys, let's go ahead and go over this I-Step prep number 1. Frogs can interact with other organisms in their habitat as a predator or as prey. Give one example of an organism that could be a frog's prey. So prey is going to be the organism that the predator seeks out, hunts, and eats. So I just listed a few there for you. Insects, worms, slugs, anything that they can catch with their long, sticky tongue. So that long, sticky tongue on the frog is an adaptation that frog has to help it obtain food. Explain why this organism would be considered a frog's prey. Well, that is because it is hunted and eaten by the frog. Prey is the animal eaten by the predator. Give one example of an organism that could be a frog's predator. So what organism in that ecosystem might actively be seeking out and eating that frog? So birds like crows, ducks, herons, they eat frogs. So do snakes, otters, reptiles, humans. Explain why this organism would be considered a frog's predator. Well, a predator is an organism that's going to actively hunt and eat the prey. So these birds and the snakes, they are hunting and eating these frogs. A stable spider population is found on the banks of a small lake where the mosquito population is very large. Spiders love mosquitoes. The spiders build webs between the tulle reeds along the banks. A new species of spider is introduced and starts building webs in the tulle reeds. Explain how the original spider population might be affected over time. Well, since we have a new species introduced into the same environment that has the same niche, doing the same thing, building their nests in the same location and eating the same food, that is going to be competition. So the original population might decrease over time. Name and explain the resource that might be a factor in how the original spider population is affected over time. Competition. There will be competition for two things. They're going to be in competition for food because they both want to eat the mosquitoes, and they're going to be in competition for space because they're both trying to build their homes, their habitats in the same location using the same resources of that tulle reed. The United States is in the northern hemisphere. Argentina is in the southern hemisphere. Identify the season it would be in each country during the month of December. Explain why the seasons are the same or why they are different. In December, the United States is experiencing winter, while Argentina is experiencing summer. This is caused by the tilt of Earth on its axis as it revolves around the sun. In December, the United States is tilted away from the sun, while Argentina is tilted toward the sun. Remember, the tilt of Earth's axis is the reason for our season. Compare the daylight hours and intensity of sun rays each country has in December. In December in the United States, the sun rays are less intense because the axis is tilted away from the sun. Daylight hours are shorter. In December in Argentina, the sun's rays are more intense because the axis is tilted toward the sun. Daylight hours are longer. We got to remember here, guys, that opposite hemispheres have opposite seasons. So if we have winter in the northern hemisphere, it is summer in the southern hemisphere. If we have spring in the northern hemisphere, we have fall in the southern hemisphere. And that the season, the tilt of Earth's axis is going to determine the season because are we receiving a lot of direct sunlight, intensity, if we're tilted toward, if we're tilted away, we're getting less intense sunlight, not as long of daylight hours, and not as much time to heat up the planet on that hemisphere. So make sure that you have, that's the last one, make sure you have all of the answers to these problems, and you will have another packet next virtual day. See you soon. Bye.